Now, as I mentioned a second ago, I am expecting cloud cover to increase going through the overnight hours. And you may notice already tomorrow morning we'll be waking up to temperatures in the mid to upper 30s versus the low 30s that we did see this morning. So let's go ahead and take a look at why we're going to see such a big temperature difference between last night and tonight. And it's all thanks to that cloud cover. Now, on a day that we have clouds, we have the sun during the day. It's emitting solar radiation down to us here on Earth. And even with a few clouds, that solar radiation is pretty strong. It's going to penetrate through those clouds, and we are still going to warm up at least some here at the ground level. Once the sun sets, though, we still keep those clouds around. It's a little bit of a different story, though. These clouds are going to help trap that heat as it tries to rise. And not only will it trap that heat, kind of acting as a blanket, but can even re-emit some of that heat back down to us here at the surface, which helps those low temperatures stay a little bit warmer, similar to what we're going to see overnight tonight. But last night we had the clear skies, and what happens when we see clear skies is that heat tries to rise after sunset, and there aren't any clouds to stop it. So as a result, we do see those overnight lows a few degrees cooler than we do whenever we have a little bit of cloud cover to help trap some of that heat in the area. Right now, though, still looking pretty good temperature-wise. We're in the mid-70s here in Monroe. Winds a bit on the breezier side, 10 miles per hour out of the southwest. And I'm only expecting those winds to get a little gustier going into this weekend. The rest of the ArcLamist looking very similar to Monroe. We have temperatures in the mid-70s for the most part, with some locations seeing a little more of that sunshine than we are here in Monroe right now. But as we go through the rest of the afternoon, we're expecting that cloud cover to continue to break up. We have a few passing clouds, but not anything as heavy as we had yesterday. We're also expecting temperatures to warm up into the low to mid 80s as a result of us finally seeing that sunshine. Cloud cover is expected to increase, though, as we go into the evening hours and a little bit for the overnight hours as well. Now, I've been talking about it for several days, but that cold front is finally getting pretty close to the ArcLamist. We see it here extending down into Texas, and you can see behind it those below average temperatures. This cold front will continue moving east, but one thing I want you to take notice of, and maybe a little difficult to see here, you may notice today I added these black lines onto the map. Those represent lines of constant pressure, and they're pretty close here over the state of Louisiana. And when we see that, when we're forecasting, that generally means that we can expect some gustier winds. And as we go into this evening, we see winds picking up maybe 10, 15, possibly 20 miles per hour. Those are only going to continue to increase going into tomorrow morning as that front approaches. We'll likely see winds gusting to at least 15 miles per hour, maybe even 20 miles per hour at times as we go through your Saturday and even your Sunday as well. So if you're wearing a hat, make sure to hold on to it tight, or if the wind will have an impact on your plans, make sure to go ahead and plan accordingly, as that cold front will bring some gusty winds behind it. Tomorrow, we have the annular solar eclipse. Again, last time you can see it until the 2040s, I believe. Partial eclipse begins around 10:30. That maximum eclipse occurs around noon. We'll see about 70% coverage here. We'll see that partial eclipse end closer to 1:40. But also, like we just mentioned, make sure you have those solar glasses or a DIY solar viewer to safely view the eclipse. But fast forwarding to next week, that's when those big changes are on the way. And we see that here. Temperature outlook 6 to 10 days showing a very good chance for below average temperatures in the ArcLamist. And we're certainly going to feel a pretty big change going into the beginning of the work week. Futurecast Monday morning showing El Dorado in the upper 40s, northeast Louisiana, low to mid 50s. You may notice that rain off to our north and west. The good news, though, is Monday, at least as of now, this rain is expected to push into the ArcLamist, and you may notice Monday evening we're already dropping down into the mid 40s as a result of that cold front. Now, we certainly need any rain we can get. A lot of the area experiencing extreme to exceptional drought conditions, which are the highest on our scale, and we can see those effects here in our own backyard. Here's the water line for these trees in the bayou. You can see how much lower the water in the bayou actually is. Some trees, you can even see the exposed roots. And an aerial view showing the water from the bayou on the right and the shoreline on the left, you can see just how much space there is between where the water is and where it should be. If I lay down on the ground, I could probably fit 3 of me vertically between the water and the shoreline. Going into this weekend, though, we do have a full moon. This one's known as the Hunter's Moon, and it peaks Saturday afternoon around 4:30. This one is known as the Hunter's Moon because it brings early light to aid hunting and harvesting. And while this does peak during daylight hours, it should be plenty bright after the sun sets.